Kentucky Education Commissioner Jason Glass is one of 4 finalists up for superintendent of Baltimore County Schools. In a statement to WKYT, Glass said serving as commissioner has been an honor, thanking the Board of Education for giving him the opportunity, saying, quote, "Even in the hard times, I have loved every minute of it." News of Glass potentially leaving comes as Republicans have called for him to be removed from his position as commissioner, including frontrunners for the Republican nomination for governor, Daniel Cameron and Kelly Craft.
And I will help you in November by making sure that Andy Beshear is retired from the governor's office and we remove Jason Glass as commissioner of the Department of Education.
They've been silenced by this woke Commissioner Glass. And you know, right, if he does the right thing on the day after the election, he's going to resign. Because if not, then I'm going to do the right thing, and on Inauguration Day, I'm going to fire him.
Per Kentucky statute, the governor does not have the power to fire an education commissioner. This position is selected by the State Board of Education.
It really feels like they just needed a boogeyman, and they have made it Dr. Glass.
Laura Hartkey is an organizer for Kentucky 120 United AFT. She says the majority of Kentucky teachers are sad to potentially lose Glass as commissioner.
I think we really want Dr. Glass to know that we support him and we thank him for the time that he gave us, and we wish him all the best. We'd love to keep him, but we understand that he's got to take care of him.
A spokesperson for the Department of Education told WKYT that statements made by various gubernatorial candidates had zero impact on the commissioner's decision to seek other opportunities, adding that he is seeking opportunities that are the right fit for his family. In Lexington, Samantha Valentino, WKYT.